What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. I'm here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and the Prophet himself, Mr. Maui Yap, who is I think number 3 in our score prediction game right now. So shouts to the Prophet, living up to the name, Mr. Maui Yap.
Kasi siya lang ata yung pumuna yung pumipili ng Lakers eh. Kaya siya yung nag-shoot up sa standings. Kasi lahat
That's true.
hindi pumipili ng Lakers.
Ako din. 2 straight games na hindi ko pa rin pinipili yung
Yung
Lakers.
pagka-homer ko is getting me points.
Guess what? On game 3, hindi ko pa rin pinili yung Lakers, but we'll see about that. Anyway, today's speaking of the Lakers, today's episode is going to be the biggest surprises of the NBA playoffs so far. Plus, we'll talk about some of our predictions over the April 25 and 26 games. So, the weekend games, we are, by the way, if you're not aware yet, we are doing a partnership with Puso P. So we are cross-posting our NBA content in Puso P. And if you're interested to join our score prediction game, our score prediction group, check out the link in the description below to join our group. It's easy to create an account. You open an account for free and then just log in, join the group, and then enter your score prediction. Best score prediction results by the end of the playoffs get a cap from Boleros if you're part of our group. So please do join that group. Okay, Gab, let's get started. I love this idea from you. Anong biggest surprise so far of the NBA playoff? Because you could go in a lot of directions. Like if you look at the standings right now, I don't think anyone predicted it to be this close.
I just want to say, before I go to my pick of one of the biggest surprises of the NBA playoffs, the playoffs are having fire. Daming good games all around. Every single day you can watch a game and you'll just be glued to your screen because I'm close. Just a while ago, the Knicks and the Hawks game 3 or something to behold. I was on the edge of my seat, literally. I was shouting here in the office of my home, and grabe, the back and forth between the Knicks and the Hawks galing. Their game 2 was good. Wolves, Nuggets game 2, not game 3, yung that much yung kasi tambak, but every day there are bangers of games. Ang ganda. And this is playoff basketball. Very different talaga from the regular season. But I'm gonna go with my pick, and I'm sure one of us gonna pick the Lakers, and I'm kind of sad that I forgot my Los Angeles Lakers cap, which I bought in crypto.com arena. Si Sam naka-Lakers shirt, but I forgot my Lakers cap. But I'm
Shout
not
out to
actually gonna.
Disney.
I am by Disney. Thank you, Disney.
But I'm not actually gonna pick the Lakers. My biggest surprise for the NBA playoffs has to be the Houston Rockets because they are so bad. Because I watched games 1 and 2, and if you watch games 1 and 2, the Lakers actually don't play well. They turn the ball over a lot. They don't shoot well from the field. I think they're close to only 40% from the field in both games. And
Except for the
except for the 3, yeah. But yeah, the Lakers have not played well at all. And if you watch these games, these are ugly games. If you watch game 2, Houston versus LA, daming turnovers. They were not executing well. There were a lot of missed layups, miscues from both teams. But the Rockets are just playing worse. I messaged you guys in the group, and watching game 2, we're just versus the Rockets. Sabi ko sa inyo, I think the Lakers, as crazy as it seems, might have gotten the right matchup in this playoffs.
Yeah, sabi mo.
Diba? Because without Luka and Austin Reeves, if they had faced a team like the Nuggets, if they had faced a team like the Wolves, sweet. No doubt. I don't think they would have gotten away playing this bad. But they're playing this bad and they're still beating the Houston Rockets, who are playing worse. The uh, the Rockets have a fundamental flaw, and I think a lot of people predicted this. A lot of podcasts that I listened to predicted this coming to the season. Their lack of shooting is a problem. They, aside from Kevin Durant, and the lack of playmaking is a problem. They lost Fred Van Vliet prior to the season, and they miss him terribly. They don't have any playmakers aside from Kevin Durant. The Lakers are essentially, especially in the second half of Game 2, they were just covering Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant, you're not gonna beat us. Let the other teams, let the other players beat us, and the other players can't beat them. Sengun has not been playing well. Amen Thompson is up and down. Jabari Smith can't consistently hit three. Sitari Eason is shooting terribly again. I had him in fantasy for the majority of my teams, and he was terrible for a long stretch this season. He couldn't shoot, and now he still couldn't. I think it was 4 of 14 from the field, and a lot of his attempts were wide open. The Lakers are purposely leaving him wide open. They're just not letting Kevin Durant beat them, and the others are just incapable of making shots right now. So I believe that the Rockets would win. In fact, siguro spoilers. If we get to our score predictions or to our game predictions later, I'm not sure I'll be picking the Lakers for Game 3. I haven't picked the Lakers to win any of the two games. Si Maui lang siguro nag-pick nun. Ako, even Game 3, at home, I'm still gonna pick the Rockets. As bad as they've been, but this is just very surprising that they've been so bad. They can't shoot. They turn the ball over. They don't run plays for majority of their possessions. And it looks bad. And honestly, if the Rockets lose and go down 3-0 to Luka-less and Austin Reeves-less Lakers, I told this to you guys before the start of the episode, fire Ime Udoka.
Right then and there.
Right
After
then
Game
and
3,
there, fire
3-0,
Ime Udoka.
fire Ime.
Get a new coach. that
Nangyari na
actually-
ba yun ever
I don't
in
think
the
so.
middle of the playoffs?
Last season, we got the firing right before the playoffs with Taylor Jenkins and Mike Malone. Let's go next level. Let's fire in the middle of the playoffs. They haven't even exited. Let's fire the coach, get a new coach in there, and then see what happens. Because honestly, the Rockets have been so bad. And a lot of the blame has to go to Ime Udoka because their offense is terrible. They don't know what they're doing majority of the time on offense.
Maui, are you surprised with how bad the Rockets have been against a team like the Lakers without their two stars? Specifically, like any player that has surprised you hasn't performed.
Yeah, ako personally, I think the Rockets are meant to struggle in the playoffs. If you watch them, they generate their offense mostly out on the bounce, fast break points. When Şengün is struggling to generate his own points, he's been so inefficient. I was watching, I think, the coverage of Prime or ESPN during the weekend, and si T-Mac was talking and hitting shots on Şengün. He has to be more aggressive. He has to be more efficient. Nawala rin yung playmaking niya. Şengün has to do better. Number one. I think number two, I think si Ime Udoka already spoke about this before game 3 tomorrow. They will get Reed Shepherd more minutes because I think they need to get him going against the Lakers. He's their best and I think only reliable 3-point shooter in the team. Si Tari Eason is not reliable. As we've seen during the last few months of the season, si Josh Okogie is definitely not reliable. Amen Thompson is not. Jabari Smith, as Gab mentioned, is up and down. I don't know if they're gonna play si Holiday more minutes. I would probably just gamble with Shepherd. I think the more challenging part is the Lakers have been. I think the Lakers have been very good in getting Kennard and Smart involved. in the offense, and that would be a detriment to Reed Shepard's minutes, 'di ba? Kasi Reed
This is
Shepard
the
can
Boston
play.
Celtics version of Marcus Smart, by the way.
I was
Actually,
yeah, I
even
was just about
better.
to say this is the Boston Celtics type of Marcus Smart, a pest on defensive end, but also hitting some shots and creating shots on offense. Probably one of the most underrated signings because I don't think the Lakers could have survived these first two games in the latter part of the season without Marcus Smart. But ako, I'll be homer and say I'm going for the Lakers in Game 3 again. And I think my chances will be higher if si Reeves will play because I think it will unlock another level to LeBron's game and will still continue to get good games from Kennard and the usual impact by Marcus Smart. I think the Lakers are in a very good position. I think the Rockets are starting to crumble. Diba? Jabari Smith just lambasted si Kevin Durant in press conference after practice. So I don't like the chances
Well,
of
to
the
be
Houston
fair,
Rockets.
Kevin Durant did lambas Jabari Smith in his burner account. So, bawi-bawi lang.
at least
Hindi
si
na kailangan
at
ng
least
burner.
at least si Jabari had the balls, diba, to do it on a press conference. But yeah, I think the Lakers' chances are very high to get to the second round. Let's see. It would probably take a 40-point game by Kevin Durant to swing the series, I would say.
Okay, so Maui taking the Lakers. I think just because you guys gave your answers already, I'm still going with the Rockets. I don't trust the Lakers right now, especially without Luka and Austin. But I hope they can prove me wrong, kasi they've proven me wrong the past two games. Kita nyo naman, suot natin, 'di ba? So hopefully
Nako,
they can prove
yan na
me
yung
wrong.
ano.
So Maui, let's go with your biggest surprise so far.
Yeah, I think I'll go into the playoffs in general. I think my biggest surprise is having so little games that are lopsided, 2-0. And not just lopsided, but also the series are 2-0. I think the Magic has been one of the biggest surprises. I would say the Hawks getting game 3 against New York is a big thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks are eliminated in the first round after the showing of Atlanta in the first 3 games. They've been one of the hottest teams in the NBA. But in general, I've loved the playoffs so far. I think that's what I want to stress. We've had so many playoffs that the first round have been so one-sided, diba? I think right now the only series that is 2-0 is the OKC Phoenix, which is could be expected, and the Lakers Houston, which is not expected at all after losing Luka and Reeves. But yeah, I think that's one of my biggest surprises so far. I hope a lot of the series go 6 or 7 games, so we have longer NBA games.
Yeah, I love that pick. Actually, nasa honorable mentions ko yan. I wanted to say all the series have been interesting. I would argue even yung Phoenix versus OKC series has been interesting just because of all the off-court antics. Yung Dylan Brooks versus his Canadian teammates, that has been so interesting to me. So kahit na lopsided yung games, like the memes that we're getting, yung Shea pointing at Dylan and yung post-game interviews with Dylan, I think he made a ton of sense complaining about the calls and the flops. So I know it's been lopsided for OKC versus Phoenix, but honestly, I find it entertaining. I find it interesting. Kahit yung off-court antics or yung off-court drama. So it's been for me all the games have been interesting overall. So I love that pick, Gab.
I'm yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier. It's a lot more competitive right now, and I love the playoffs. The games are just on a different level of intensity. Uh, Physical. I mean, to those who complain it's not as physical as back then or as the early 2000s or the 90s. watch the games. They are very physical. Actually, the refs are letting them play a lot of the time. Uh, they're allowing hand checks. They're allowing physicality at the rim. They're allowing pushing and grabbing for some time. So ganda, ang ganda, and you feel the intensity. Yung players are going at it. Uh, so it's honestly a treat for basketball fans. Yung NBA playoffs ngayon. Ganda, ang ganda. Yes, Sam. What's your pick for biggest surprise?
I think for me, biggest surprise. If I look at the Nuggets versus Timberwolves game, I don't think it's surprising that the Timberwolves are up 2-1. Gab, the first time we recorded an episode when we did our predictions, we all picked Nuggets to win game 1, but you emphasized probably out of all the series the games, this could be the tightest. Maui, I think you said the series to watch out for. So I think looking at Nuggets versus Wolves being up to 1 right now, not surprising. What is surprising to me is how vulnerable Jokic has looked. I did not expect that from Jokic. I know Gobert is a 3-time defensive player, but he has battled against Gobert before, but I feel like this time, especially the last two games, the last two losses, he's looked vulnerable. I think he was Maui? Na-mention mo kanina 6 of 25 or something like that from the field earlier today. Nung game 2, I remember he looked so gassed. Si Jokic, you can tell yung mga tira niya was always short, and I think everyone talked about it if you listen to the podcasts, like that shot that he gave up when he passed it to uh, Brown, right? So he passed the ball for the game-winning shot. I think that's not your typical Jokic. He should have taken that shot, but I feel like he's just really struggling right now. And kudos to the defense of Gobert and kudos to the defense of Minnesota. Sabi nga ni McDaniels, diba? They're attacking everyone. So yeah, so I think that's the surprise to me. I mean, Jokic is still getting like 20 plus points, whatever he's getting, but he struggled to get there. That's what's surprising to me.
I like that you picked that, Simon, because one of my picks for biggest surprises of the NBA playoff has been Rudy freaking Gobert. Kasi who would
He
have it
deserves
in
the
their bingo
credit.
card
Mm.
that Rudy Gobert would actually not stop, but at least make it really hard for Nikola Jokic. This was the same guy that Jokic cooked multiple times. I think Jokic's career high is against Rudy Gobert. There was
60.
Oo nga, no?
yeah, there was an exchange dati, 'di ba? Yung sabi ni Rudy Gobert na don't double, I'm gonna single coverage. Pero si Jokic was like, bro, I have 46. What are you talking about? Single coverage. So, I love it. And, he hasn't always been on Jokic, but he's always matched Jokic minutes. And if you look at the stats earlier in game 3, Jokic was a minus 21. Rudy Gobert was a plus 18. Like, what? Are you kidding me?
Oo nga, no? Plus
This,
18.
yeah, he was a plus 18. And their minutes are usually matched. So, the Wolves have been outplaying the Nuggets with Gobert on the court against Jokic. That is wild. Diba? Is Rudy Gobert now the greatest player in the world? Has he surpassed Nikola Jokic?
Jokic
Ganda. And
stopper.
he's also hitting key shots. I do remember in game 2 he had that big putback dunk to put them up 4, I think, or 3. Earlier in game 3, he had this move on Jokic. He drove on Jokic, did two pivots, and then hit a left-handed hook over Nikola Jokic. Like, who the hell? And I think it was Candace Parker on the call, and she was saying like, okay, Rudy Gobert, let's go. I was very surprised that he had that move. So Rudy Gobert has been incredible these first three games. He's one of the main reasons that the Wolves are up 2-1. For a guy who always gets cooked by Nikola Jokic, this is a pleasant surprise, especially for Wolves fans. Galing. He had a big block also on Jokic earlier. He drove baseline. Rudy was there to meet him. You blocked his shot. He's been awesome. He's been awesome defensively. And to be honest, I think he was snubbed for one of the candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. I thought he he should have been
Very
up
good
there.
point.
I don't think the Wolves would be in this position in the playoffs if it weren't for Rudy Gobert. And he plays. See, Rudy Gobert, he plays majority of the season. And he's one of the reasons the Wolves are the top defensive teams, or one of the top uh, defensive teams of the NBA season.
Yeah, it's funny. He was drafted by the Nuggets, diba? Si Rudy Gobert. And then
I
just
can't
traded.
believe we're giving Gobert his flowers, diba? Finally, I think a lot of people will have to apologize for all the memes, all the hatred. I think Gobert has been fantastic the whole season. Kahit if you check out the numbers during the regular season, I think they dropped to one of the worst defensive teams when he's off the floor. And I'm happy to see him thrive in the playoffs kasi kawawa, a man can only take so much hate in the playoffs, di ba? From Terrence Mann to Jokic to everyone who was given Rudy Gobert nightmares. So far, so good in the first three games in this playoffs. And I think if the Nuggets don't figure out how to get Jokic going efficiently, I think the Wolves could be the victors in the series.
Yeah, I think for me, what this sort of reminds me of LeBron against Kawhi when LeBron surprisingly struggled against the Spurs nung finals that they lost. He looked vulnerable there. He looked gassed. Nag-cramps pa siya. Kind of reminds me of that. But this is an older Rudy Gobert, so that's also what's surprising. So kudos to Rudy Gobert. Okay, any more picks for biggest surprises? Because there are a couple of surprises pa. Maybe Gab or Maui.
Ako, meron. CJ McCollum being the
I had
villain,
him.
being the next Trey Young is one of the biggest surprises for him. He became a villain and
Ang ganda
even
niyan.
had the Madison Square Garden crowd chanting, "Fuck you, CJ! Fuck you, CJ!" That was crazy. And he
That's
was just
crazy.
smiling. And he even said in his post game that, "Hey, I'm a nice guy. I'm just a good guy." He wasn't trying to embrace the villain arc of CJ McCollum, but he's been great. I mentioned earlier the big game of the Hawks against the Knicks. He hit the game-winning shot. I actually thought, hey, you're taking it too early. You could have run down the clock and had the last shot of the game. But I guess it was a good shot because he was open. It was a good curl off that pin down, and he got to his spot in the mid-range, right in the free throw line extended. Hit it, money. And he hit the big shots also in game two. Remember, I think he was joying with his former teammates, si Alvarado, and the Madison Square Garden crowd was giving it to him, but he delivered in the fourth quarter and in crunch time. And I didn't have CJ McCollum having big moments in the playoffs. I thought it would go to the likes of Nikhil Alexander Walker, and Jalen Johnson to have the big moments, but the big moments have come from CJ McCollum. And galing. He just hits big shots. And he's now terrorizing the Knicks. I have no idea how this is happening. And for the most part, he's been going mano a mano with Jalen Brunson. They are going at each other
Yun.
because they are targeting
Yeah.
each other. Diba?
Yeah.
The Hawks are purposely switching to get are purposely trying to make the Knicks switch to get CJ McCollum on Jalen Brunson so he could go at Jalen Brunson. On the other end, the Knicks are doing the same thing. They're trying to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
Jalen Brunson on CJ McCollum so they could go one on one with each other. So ang galing, and so far yung CJ McCollum is winning the battle.
Mhm.
I didn't have that yung on my bingo card for the playoffs, but I love CJ right now. He's been very entertaining.
Yeah, I had that. That was my second pick, CJ McCollum and another player. But just jumping on CJ McCollum, for me, it's not number one. Is he's dominating the Knicks, right? I did not expect this from CJ McCollum, who was just thrown to the Wizards. So remember, he was with the Wizards. He wasn't really playing any relevant basketball there in the Wizards. He was just a throwaway, and then he was also a throwaway to the Hawks because they just needed salaries to match with Trey Young. So I don't think the Hawks, even the Hawks, expected him to really channel his inner Trey Young and be actually better than Trey Young right now. I don't think Trey Young has been good with the Hawks recently. So I think even the Hawks are surprised with how CJ McCollum how good CJ McCollum has turned out to be. But I love what you said, Gab, na CJ McCollum, the second thing is CJ McCollum being a villain is such a surprise. He had the kick to Jalen Brunson's family jewels. Uh, People are chanting FCJ McCollum. Remember, this is the guy who was like vice president of the Players Association. You don't become vice president if you're hated by everyone, by all of the players. Right? You become vice president because people love you. People love you. People admire you. So the fact na he's now the villain from vice president of the Players Association to becoming the villain, that's so funny. And this is
I
the
don't
guy
think
who,
that's true.
remember,
See, Chris Paul became the president, and I don't think a lot of
ah,
people
well,
love
yeah, yeah,
Chris
yeah, yeah,
Paul.
that's true.
Baka top level
Okay.
influence lang. Yeah,
Okay.
ako,
One last thing,
go
Maui.
ahead.
This is also the guy who said before, way back, I'm trying Jennifer, di ba? Naging meme pa to eh. This is CJ McCollum, I think is like a harmless guy, nice guy. So it's just so funny na he's become the villain of this series. Maui on CJ.
Yeah, CJ McCollum is a type of transaction, 'di ba? In the trade deadline that blossoms in the playoffs. Talagang I think this is one of the biggest wins ng trade deadline. Atlanta letting go of Trey Young and that bad juju with Trey Young. Because believe it or not, 'di ba, they had some bad blood a little with Trey Young. And I think si McCollum deserves his flowers. A lot of people were starting to list them off their list of players who are good in the NBA. This is a guy who 11 straight seasons averaged 20 points a game. I don't think a lot of NBA players have done that in their careers. And this is actually the first season that he hasn't averaged 20 a game. But he did average 18.7, which is still similar to his 18.8 average with the Washington Wizards. So CJ McCollum is actually the epitome of being Mr. Consistent. Diba? He's been very consistently good. Not the not the best all-star, but one of the best, I think, sidekicks in the NBA, which is why Portland also had some success. And I think tama ka, Sam, he's a better fit since Atlanta runs most of its offense with Gab's idol, si Jalen Johnson, diba? So CJ McCollum knows how to play off the ball. CJ McCollum knows how to get his points consistently despite not having the highest usage, and it's paying dividends for Atlanta. This is a type of team that I like. All wings and the guard. Even their center is a wing, in my opinion.
Kulang na lang si Coach Pido eh, no? Okay, Maui, your next surprise.
Kasi si Coach Pito. Imagine Coach Pito nag-coach sa NBA. Love trip
Shout
yun.
out, shout out pa eh, si Sammy. Yeah, I think my biggest surprise, big surprise for the playoffs is the Boston Celtics. Philadelphia stealing game 2 in their arena, because as history dictates, the Boston Celtics usually play pretty good at home. And I love VJ Edgecombe. I think he's one of the players to watch out for, a potential future star in the league. I think the Philly has finally struck some luck getting VJ Edgecombe after all that bad luck. Diba? I think they have the present and the future in their teams with Maxi and Edgecombe. I think outside of maybe the Knicks, Atlanta, Denver, Minnesota series, I think the series is another that I would watch because of the high pace, high scoring nature of the games. I love how both teams launch so many three pointers and try to outscore each other. Maybe if you're an over under guy, this sub series where the score would probably be more than 220 combined every game. Uh, I really love si VJ Edgecombe, and I think that he could be a potential star in the league. I think he even paid the homage to Dwayne Wade. I think that's a guy that he's looking out for and trying to follow and
Emulate.
emulate. I love the series, and but I would still be surprised. I don't know. Maybe if we do another episode and the Sixers somehow dethrone the Celtics, I still think that the Celtics are heavily favored for the series.
The one thing that I love about this series is VJ Max. That nickname for VJ Edgecombe and Maxi. VJ Max. We have to make that a thing. I love it. Gab.
I actually had see Edgecombe as one of my surprises. I mean, you don't really see a rookie getting more touches than a proven star like Paul George. He's
Paul
been
George, yeah.
their second best player, even at times their best player. And I know we're waiting on Embiid, but I think the Sixers. Well, I'm not gonna say they're better without Embiid, but I think that the Sixers are good even without Embiid, because if Embiid's there, he's taking away a lot of touches from guys like Maxi and Edgecombe. So I kind of like this version of the Sixers because if Embiid's there, they're slowing it down. They're giving it to Embiid in the high post or on the post where he can do his thing. I'm not sure that that's the best thing against the Boston Celtics. I think they would be better off if they play this sort of pace, keep in pace with the Celtics, and try to outshoot the Celtics because that's what the Celtics want, right? They want to outshoot their opponents. They want to hit a lot of threes, and I don't think you're gonna win the battle with Embiid posting up and hitting mid ranges for most of the time. So if I were the Sixers, like MB, Joel, maybe save yourself for if ever we get to the second round or we really need you. But the current version of the Sixers seems like a better matchup for the Celtics because they can shoot with the Celtics, they can fly around the court with the Celtics, and they can run with the Celtics. I don't think that's gonna happen if Joel Embiid is there. And he's slow also on defense, so that's a big part of it also.
Okay, I think you guys actually mentioned some of my picks, my honorable mentions. But siguro, since Gab mentioned him briefly earlier, I think um, another surprise for me is another Wizards throwaway, which is Marcus Smart. He's been probably the second most important player sometimes for the Lakers, and I can't believe if you told me that Marcus Smart and CJ McCollum would be playing significant minutes and also be the most important player for their teams in the playoffs at this a year ago, I would say that's impossible. So the Lakers got lucky with Marcus Smart. He hasn't been good or relevant. I think what the past season and a half, the past 2 seasons, Memphis gave him up for a bag of chips. So I think the Lakers did not also expect this from Marcus Smart. They probably just signed him because of the name, because of the history, and because they couldn't sign anyone else with that history. But with Luca and Austin out, he's been good. Meron lang moments, minsan may moments pa rin na parang, bakit mo ginawa yan, Marcus Smart? But
That's the Marcus Smart
95% of
experience.
90 to 95% of the playoffs so far, I would say he's been good. Okay. So I think that's it for our biggest surprises. I'm surprised nobody picked Kuminga, perhaps. But let's go with our predictions. So I think
Kumingo was on my
Lakers
list.
Rockets,
I was impressed. He had the biggest
right?
defensive play a while ago.
Game winning stop.
So I didn't know that, he had this in him to play defense as good as he's been playing and to actually have meaningful minutes in the playoffs.
Is he vindicated?
Di
Mali
pa.
ba si Steve Kerr? Hindi pa.
Hindi pa,
Kulang
Kulang
hindi
pa.
pa, hindi pa.
Kulang
Hindi pa.
pa. Kulang pa. Okay, okay.
I don't
Kulang
think.
pa.
He
Sorry.
still
Kuminga.
takes a lot of hero shots, which I think drove Steve Kerr crazy. Di ba? Ang dami niyang ganun eh. And even in this series, nagtataka nga ako minsan kung bakit hindi nagagalit si Jalen Johnson sa kanya or si Nikhil Alexander Walker. Like, bro, pass the ball.
Sanay
Why
na
are you
sila.
taking... Di ba?
Sanay na.
Sanay na si
Yung
Tao
Rose
tsaka si
naman
Jalen
sila.
Johnson.
Ah!
May mga
Galing si
Kasi
kampi
Trae
ano.
Young eh, no?
Kasi yung may times na si JK will just go one-on-one, pull up mid-ranger and it's an air ball. Daming gano'n.
Mhm.
Parang, just pass it to Jalen Johnson. Just go near the rim. Play off them. You play off the other guys. Why are you doing one-on-one? But yeah, he's had some good moments. I just think that he's like Marcus Smart. Actually, sa amin. Since you mentioned
Good
yung Marcus Smart.
comparison.
Sometimes he does really good things. Sometimes he just, what did you do? Why? So I couldn't give him a full surprise because honestly, I've seen him score a lot, which he does. The defense is somewhat a surprise, but there is still semblance of the Warriors, yung Jonathan Kuminga there, and there's a reason why they didn't want to play him and they wanted to trade him.
Sorry ako,
Okay.
Sam, last. I
Go,
have
Maui.
to pay homage to Luke Kennard. Who would have expected this guy to be
Crazy.
a 20-point scorer so far in the playoffs? If he continues to be like this, then maybe we can expect a lot more miracles from the Lakers.
Anything can happen if si Luke Kennard is like that. Gab.
Alam mo kung ano nangyari? Because his coach is JJ Redick.
JJ Redick.
Yung Duke yan eh, yung Duke connection yan eh. So sasabi niya, Luke Kennard, you have to be more like me. Just shoot the ball. If ever you get some daylight, just shoot the ball. Just like how I did it when I was in Duke. And yung may bond yan eh, yung pang pareho sila yung nasa Duke white boy shooters. You gotta put your money on them.
and Ohio connection with LeBron, I think.
Oo nga pala.
Yeah, so,
oo
okay.
nga pala.
Let's do our score prediction. So let's start with the Lakers versus Rockets. Actually, our predictions pala. You can check out our score predictions over at pusup.com. The link is over in the description section. Join our score prediction group. But for this episode, we'll just do our prediction. So I think we can start with the Lakers Rockets. Gab and I pick. Tama ba, Gab? Rockets ka pa rin, di ba? You're still picking the Rockets over the
I
Lakers.
cannot in my right mind pick the Lakers and the Rockets going down 3-0. I cannot. I will not believe it talaga kung mangyari yun.
So Gab and I going with the Rockets. The Prophet, Mr. Maui up, going with the Lakers again. The next game that we have, let's do Sixers versus Celtics. Maui, do you think the Sixers have it in them to score another upset?
The Sixers at home are usually crazy. The crowd is crazy. I think the Philly crowd is one of the rowdiest crowd in the NBA. But I would pick the Boston Celtics to win this game. And it's going to be a high-scoring game for both teams. I think there will be a lot of three-pointers during the game tomorrow. But yeah, I think the Celtics will get this. this win, but probably a game below 10.
Gab, are you going with the Sixers or the Celtics?
No, I'm going with the Celtics. The Sixers have to have big games from Paul George, Maxi, and Edgecombe to even try to get close to the Celtics. But the Celtics have championship experience. I think they have the better team. So I'm going with the Celtics.
Okay, I'm swerving. I'll go with the Sixers. It's been a surprising NBA playoff so far. I did not expect them to win one in Boston, so why not win one at home? I'm going with the Sixers. Maui has convinced me. It's going to be a high scoring game, probably. Uh, Give me a 1 point win by the Sixers. Let's go, Andre Drummond. Moving on, let's go to the next game tomorrow. Portland versus San Antonio. I'm sad for Wemby, but where are you going with this, Gab?
He's officially questionable, but I love the Blazers. I think the Blazers are gonna pull this one off. Put me down for another upset by the Blazers. I think it's gonna be close, but I don't. No one mentioned Scoot, but I've seen Scoot have these big games before, but he's never followed it up with another big game, diba? So I'm not that hopeful that Scoot will deliver, but I do think at home, the Blazers, after a long time out of the playoffs, are gonna deliver an upset. I don't think they're gonna win the series, but I do think they're at least gonna get this game 3.
Ako, I'm a Spurs homer. So, with or without Wemby, even if Wemby doesn't play, I think the Spurs will win with a big game by the Aaron Fox and a big game by my boy Keldon Johnson, Mr. Big Body,
Mr. Sixth
the
Man.
mixed six man of the year. I think he will bounce back. He will have to bounce back after two very subpar games.
Okay, I won't overthink this one. I'll go with the Spurs, with or without Wemby. But give me a close game. Close game for game 3. Okay, moving on. Sunday games, we have two. Let's start with Orlando versus Detroit. Detroit basketball. Maui.
Ito yung series that we said would probably sweep, but the Magic somehow won game 1. But
Actually,
after
Maui, sige, yung before you go, they were also one of my surprises. Kasi they looked bad. I was counting this team off, but
Yeah.
they've been actually competitive. So, shout out to the Orlando Magic for proving me wrong.
si Panchero is proving people wrong during the playoffs. But yeah, ako I have to go the safe route. I think Detroit was shocked in game 1, but they will dominate the series. I think they have enough firepower to go toe to toe with the Magic. Ang ganda ng matchups eh. Very tall wings and I think Jalen Duren will want to have a big game finally. I think he hasn't had one during the playoffs, and that's a bit embarrassing for him because he's the ex-boyfriend, di ba, of Angel Reese. I think that's another storyline in this Orlando Detroit
Ooh.
series.
Siya ba yung ex-boyfriend?
And Wendell Carter is the new view.
Yeah.
So I think Jalen Duren will have a big game 3. This
May
is a guy who was an
motivation.
all-star. This is a guy who proved us all wrong this season, and I think he will have a big game 3 finally. They will need to get him going if they want to go deep in the playoffs.
Gab, where are you
May
going
ganun
with
pala.
this?
Hindi ko alam na ganun pala yung
Hindi ko rin
beef.
alam eh.
So this is the second coming of the Kyle Kuzma versus Tyler Hero saga, di ba? Or the Devin Booker versus Kuzma ata or something like that. So may ganun, the Kardashian Bowl is now the Angel Reese Bowl. Ako, I'm Pistons. I just think yung tama si Maui. Yung game 1, they were kind of shocked or something. They were surprised by the intensity of the Magic. I think they expected the Magic to be bad as we all expected, but they were grinding with them. They were bringing it defensively, and I think they found something in the second half of game two. I don't think they're gonna let this slide. So Pistons ako, Pistons.
Okay, first unanimous vote. I'm going with the Pistons. The Magic won't hit a ton of threes. Probably gonna score below 100. So Pistons for me. Okay, last game. The other game, that's 2-0 so far. OKC versus the Phoenix Suns. Gab.
3 games pa. Sam,
Ay, sorry. May na-miss ba ako? Sorry, sorry.
we have
Okay, go.
Knicks, Hawks, and
OKC
Nuggets,
versus...
Wolves.
Sige. OKC versus Phoenix muna tayo.
OKC. I kahit walang Jalen Williams, and that's unfortunate. I think he's gonna be out for a long while here. Uh, there's no way the Suns are winning. I just don't see anyone. I just don't see how the Suns are beating this team, even without Jalen Williams. They're just too good. So OKC.
Ako,
Yep,
I
are
will
you...
superb for game
Oh,
3.
okay.
If there's a game that the Suns can win in the series, I think this is the game. They lose this game, they go home with a sweep. I think OKC will go home with the sweep. They will get hot at home and hit a lot of 3-pointers tomorrow. I think very, very big games by hopefully Gillespie and Allen have big games tomorrow. Let's see. But I think if there's a game that Phoenix can win against OKC, this will be it. But I have to agree with Gab. I think OKC is proven without Jalen Williams all throughout the season. It's a bit unfortunate because he re-aggravated, I think, his hamstring again. But I will swerve and believe that the Suns will get one game, and this is that game.
Just a correction, Maui. It's a different hamstring. I think he strained his right
Kabila.
twice. He
Damn.
sprained his left kanina. So malas.
Malas. Okay, hindi ko kaya. Am I going with the Prophet or with Gab? I think I'm just going with OKC. They're just too good. But Maui up, guys. Saying you heard it here first. Phoenix upsetting OKC in Game 3. Sorry, Game 4 na pala yung iba. That's why I missed it. I'm looking at the Puso P games. Kaya na-miss ko siya. Game 4 games on Sunday. Knicks, Hawks, Wolves, Nuggets. Knicks, Hawks. Gab, where are you going with this one? Game 4, Knicks bouncing back or Jalen Johnson, your boy, taking
No,
another
I'm going
game?
with the Knicks. As much as I love the Hawks, I think the Knicks are going to bounce back. I think this series is going to 7 games. Game 7, baby. So give me the Knicks tying this series up. They almost won the game earlier, to be honest. So I don't think this is a clear cut. Hawks are going to dominate. I think the Knicks are going to tie this series up.
Maui.
Yeah, ako, I would agree. I think Jalen Brunson will have a better will dominate in game 4. I think Michael Bridges has to wake up for the Knicks to win the series. But I still think that they have the upper hand despite the Hawks being up 2-1 right now. I think they will still game 4. And much like Gab, I hope we see a game 7.
Okay, I'll swerve. I'll pick the Hawks, another close game. I want Stephen A. Smith to go crazy. I want the blame game to start happening. Do they change
Fire
the
Mike
coach?
Brown
Do
na
they
ba in the
change
middle of the
Fire Mike
series?
Brown?
Oh my
Exactly.
God.
Yeah, I want that. I want the off-court drama for the Knicks. So I'm going with the Hawks. Another close game. Game 4. Okay, Maui. The series to watch out for para sa'yo. Wolves versus Nuggets. Nuggets bouncing back?
Yes, I think they will even the series at 2-2. And I think si Aaron Gordon will play in game 4. He has to. I don't think they can beat the Wolves if the Wolves go 3-1. I think this is the most important game of the season for the Nuggets. Probably even more important than game 5 if they tie the series. I think if they lose tomorrow, it's a death sentence for on Sunday. I think it would be a death sentence for the Nuggets. You cannot beat this team 3 straight games, Minnesota, with how closely contested their games have been for the past 2 seasons. I think before the playoffs, they were 14-14 in their last 2 years of matchup, 2 or 3 years matchup. So That's how close this matchup has been. I think Game 4 is a must win. I think Jokic will finally figure out how to maneuver against this Minnesota defense. I think he will have a big game. A triple double. Give me a 40-point triple double by Jokic in Game 4.
Whoa, that's specific. 40-point triple double for Jokic. Nuggets bouncing back to tie the series. Gab, where are you going with
Same
this?
thing. I'm going with the Nuggets. I think the series is potentially going to 7 games. 7, baby. So, Nuggets. I do think Jokic and Murray are gonna have big games in Game 4. Again, this is their season. Yung sabi nga ni Maui, it's gonna be hard to beat this Wolves team 3 straight times. So, this is gonna be their season. I think Jokic and Murray are gonna show up and they're gonna be on fire the entire game.
As much as I want to swerve on this one, I just love Nikola Jokic too much. See, I'm going with Jokic and the Nuggets tying the series in Game 4. That's it for our predictions this weekend. Please remember to check out our score prediction group down below. Create an account on Puso P. Join our group. Enter your score predictions for a chance to win a Boleros Cup and some merch from Puso P. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Good luck. Sana wala nang ma-injure na players.